Great. Here's a long, smooth, voiceover-ready YouTube script titled Pension Explained, in natural English, written for easy narration or AI voiceover. It flows without headings, has clear signposting, examples, and a short call to action at the end. Use it as is or drop it into your TTS tool. Oh, have you ever wondered what happens to your money when you stop working? How do people live comfortably after decades of earning a salary? Today, we're going to make pensions simple: what they are, how they work, the main types, how benefits are calculated, and the smart choices you can make today to avoid surprises tomorrow. By the time we're done, you'll know the basic language of pensions and how to plan so retirement doesn't feel like a financial mystery. Let's start with the basics. A pension is simply a regular payment you receive after you retire. Think of it as a paycheck that arrives when you're no longer on the job. But pensions come in different shapes and sizes. There are government pensions, employer pensions, and personal pensions, and each one works a little differently. Government pensions are often called Social Security or state pensions. They're funded by taxes or national insurance contributions and usually give you a basic safety net. Employer pensions are set up by companies for their staff. These can be very generous depending on the employer and the country. Personal pensions, on the other hand, are ones you arrange yourself: a private retirement account, investments, or annuities that you own and control. Now, let's break down the two most common employer pension models: defined benefit and defined contribution. A defined benefit pension promises you a specific income in retirement, often based on your salary and years of service. It's predictable. You know roughly how much you'll get. Defined contribution plans are different. You, and possibly your employer, pay into an account that's invested. Your retirement income depends on how much was contributed and how well the investments performed. In short, defined benefit gives certainty. Defined contribution gives potential, but also risk. How do pensions get calculated? For a government pension, the formula is usually straightforward. Your eligibility depends on how long you paid into the system and sometimes on your earnings. Employer pensions can have more complex formulas. For defined benefit plans, it might be something like a percentage of your final or average salary times your years of service. For defined contribution plans, the math is simpler. Total contributions plus investment returns minus fees gives you a pot. How you transform that pot into income, whether you buy an annuity, take systematic withdrawals, or combine options, changes the amount you'll receive every month. Here's a simple example to make that concrete. Imagine two workers, Sarah and Ali. Sarah has a defined benefit pension that promises 2% of her final salary for each year she worked. She worked 30 years and her final salary is $50,000. Her pension would be 30 times 2% times $50,000. That's $30,000 a year. Ali instead has a defined contribution account. Over 30 years, he and his employer contributed $300 per month and the investments grew, but the final amount depends on market performance. If his pot ends up at $200,000, how much income he gets depends on how he chooses to withdraw it. If he buys an annuity, it might translate into $10,000 to $12,000 a year. See how structure matters? Timing also matters. Pensions usually start at an official retirement age. If you take your pension earlier, benefits may be reduced. If you delay, some systems increase your benefit. That's why understanding your country's rules and your plan's terms is crucial. Another important piece is tax. Many pension contributions get tax advantages, either tax relief when you contribute or tax-free growth inside your pension. But withdrawals in retirement can be taxed depending on where you live and the account rules. So tax planning is part of retirement planning. Knowing whether your pension income will be taxed and at what rate helps you estimate your net income after retirement. Fees and inflation are the two silent thieves of retirement income. High management fees can erode returns over decades. Even a seemingly small difference in returns compounds into large numbers over 20 or 30 years. Inflation is also critical. A fixed monthly payment loses buying power as prices rise. That's one reason some pensions link to inflation or allow investment strategies aimed at beating inflation over time. Now, practical tips you can use right away. First, check your statements. Know how much you and your employer are contributing, what your current pension pot is, if defined contribution, and what your projected benefits look like. Second, take advantage of employer matching, if available. That's free money. Third, minimize unnecessary fees. Shop around if your plan allows it, and consider low-cost investment options. Fourth, diversify. Don't put all your retirement hopes in one risky investment. Fifth, think about timing. Don't rush to take your pension without checking how it affects the monthly amount. A few years' delay can sometimes raise your lifetime income significantly. Sixth, consider inflation-protected options if available, especially for long retirements. There are also common mistakes to avoid. Don't assume your government pension will cover all your expenses. Many people find that state pensions only provide a portion of their pre-retirement income. Don't ignore beneficiary options. Make sure your surviving spouse or dependents will be cared for if that matters to you. Don't underestimate healthcare costs in retirement. And avoid cashing out your pension early unless you have no other choice. Early withdrawals often come with big penalties and lost growth. For those closer to retirement, consider doing a pension health check. Add up all expected income sources: government pension, employer pension, personal savings, and investments. Compare that number to your expected annual expenses. If there's a gap, figure out whether you can save more, delay retirement, downsize, or adjust spending. If you're younger, compound interest is your best friend. Start early and contribute regularly. If you're self-employed or your employer doesn't offer a pension, don't worry. Personal pensions and retirement accounts can fill the gap. The rules and tax treatment vary by country, but the principle is the same. Save regularly, take advantage of any tax breaks, and invest in a diversified portfolio that matches your risk tolerance and time horizon. Before we finish, let's mention annuities briefly. An annuity is a financial product that converts a lump sum pension pot into a guaranteed income for life or for a set period. It's a trade-off: security and predictable income in exchange for giving up control of your capital. For people who value certainty and want to avoid the risk of outliving their savings, annuities can be attractive. But comparison shopping is essential because rates and features vary. So what's the one takeaway? Pensions are not magic. They're a combination of contributions, investments, rules, and planning. Understanding which type you have, how benefits are calculated, and how taxes and inflation affect your income puts you in control. Start early, check your statements, use employer matches, minimize fees, and plan for inflation and health care. Small steps today can create a much more secure retirement later. If you like this explainer and want a short version, a checklist you can download, or a script turned into short social posts, I can make any of those right now. Don't forget to subscribe for more clear, practical finance explainers, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for listening, and here's to smarter, calmer retirement planning.
अच्छा, अगर आप चाहो तो मैं ये स्क्रिप्ट उर्दू में भी ट्रांसलेट कर दूं या शॉर्ट 60-90 सेकंड वर्जन्स रेडी बना दूं फॉर शॉर्ट्स रील्स. Which one do you want next?